Welcome everyone to our Postman session with Animesh. Today he will be briefing us about how Postman works, how anyone can build APIs very easily using Postman. So, Animesh, would you like to tell something about yourself and how you got so interested into Postman?
Yeah, so hello everyone. My name is Animesh. I'm currently doing BTech from Kalinga Institute of Bhubaneswar. And basically, Shubhayan, I started working with APIs for the backend purposes while learning backend development and using it with the MySQL and with the interning in a company called Typeoff. So that's how I got to know about API. And while we are making APIs, we need to test them how they are working uh, before publishing them. So that's why I used. Then that's how I got to know about the Postman and what it does. It's basically a brief about
Yeah,
me
that's
and the
great.
Postman.
Like working into backend and then getting into the API formations, that's pretty good start for anyone, for any beginner too. And Postman,
Right.
I guess that's a pretty great platform for anyone to begin with.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So I have a PPT I would like to share,
sure, sure.
and with that, I guess then we will move according to it. So here it is. Is it visible? Yeah. So
Yeah,
get on with. So before I move to the main parts and how what is Postman and how it works, let me just talk about that the summit that we are having. It is basically a Postman Student Summit, which is an event for making students and educators all over the world collaborate and learn about APIs. So I have a link. I have shared a link with you. I guess you can share it. This is the link. We will share it in the comment section. So basically, today agenda is what is API, introduction to them and the Postman, how the request and response works. We will do some hands-on session, and I will share the few resources that I use. And then at the end, if you have a question, then we will surely take up that.
sure, sure. We can begin with it.
So this is a pretty non-specific image that you are seeing. Can you just share? I mean, what do you see from this? What can you
Yeah,
means?
it's not visible right now. It's a black screen right now.
Is it
Yeah,
visible?
yeah. So basically, there's a chef, there's a waiter, there's a guest, I guess. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a digital
So
restaurant.
we can imagine API as a waiter of the restaurant, and imagine that you are. I mean, imagine you go to your favorite restaurant. You want to order. So in this case, you are the client, the goggles one, and you're sending your request to the waiter who tells in the kitchen to the chef what you want and what is your basically the order. And then waiter comes back with the order, or they may tell you that the kitchen is out of the menu or the ingredients are not yet available. They have to wait. So this is similar to what APIs do. They provide the services between the client and the service provider. As you can see from this demonstration, this is the how API works. You made a request, then APIs tell is to the server, then this if the request is valid, the server returns back to the client through the same API. So what is an API and why should I use one? This is the most common question that anyone asks while mm, in getting involved with backend or using some API services, pre-built services. So basically, API are the application programming interface which allow the services to communicate with each other. They have become a bit, what should I say, complex because as the requirements have increased and the old APIs are getting discarded and new ones are being made from the scratch. So, like Google and Twitter or Facebook, Microsoft, they use APIs to provide us the services. In return, they access our data, so then they can increase their the database as well as the provide us the better requirements. So for that, I will share an example with you. Let me just share. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. So basically, this is the basic uh, get method that we are going to use, and we will just simply use the google.com, or if you want to add, we can add https google.com. Okay, and we are sending in a request. So from here, you can see how the data is being received. This is in the HTML format. Let me convert into the JSON. Yeah, so this is the preview. Yeah, this is the preview. Now this is the basic search engine that we are using. So if I just add here, what should I say? Search equals to Postman. Then you will see it is not returning anything. It's just returning the Google part and nothing else. This is because this is not the correct way or the correct endpoints to search for the search engine. Let me get back to my screen. So let's get into the technical bit of what is API and what it is, how does it work. So like I said, sometimes we need a data from services like Google or Facebook or Instagram, and we don't have the code bases of this company because they don't provide simple. That's why but they have created APIs so that we can develop for according to our requirement without accessing their main database. And as they have already made the complex bits of APIs, we don't any one person, whether he's developer or non-developer, they can use it. That's the wonderful thing how this works. So suppose I have clicked a picture and I uploaded it on the Instagram. So it will just send it back to the server, and from the server it gets stored. Now what happens is that the people who are accessing, they have the different endpoint, suppose view endpoint. So through the view endpoints they can access the photo that I have shared. Similarly, it is being stored into the server and on the Instagram backend, and we can download those photos as we do usually. And there is an API for everything. This means just not for Google, Facebook, but also the Spotify app that we use. Many people are using for the development on their own personal projects, as well as Discord bot. Now the increase in the personal custom Discord bot has been increased. This has been possible due to the fact that they are providing their custom APIs, and the doc is beautifully written. Similarly, we have Twitter, Open Weather, Cat API, Genius, and many more.
uh, I would like to add to that. Like recently, our government itself posted their own COVID
COVID
information.
API.
Yeah, COVID API.
Yeah,
So that was used by many softwares, many projects, just to get the statistics about the COVID reports and everything. So that's a very
right.
good API. Anyone watching this session can use that API to literally get resources also, and get the all the statistics of the COVID time.
Hmm,
So that's a great initiative by the government, which they have achieved using creating an API.
that's
Yeah.
right. So let's take an example of a Lego bricks. I suppose everyone has used Lego in their life when while playing at one point or another. So consider Lego uh, as building blocks of a software. So we can imagine that this blocks, when we create it on put it on one level or other, it will form some kind of software version. And how we are using it, that is that will create what kind of software we are making. So suppose I can use existing structures together, like the API resources, that the COVID API resources that government is providing to us, and make it to convert into the website or an app, so that the people can take that data, see it, or use it to their own purpose. Or I can just make in my own API in JSON file, and then call it and fetch it and convert the data. So how we are making the APIs and how we are putting it together is the basically how we are making the software versions. See, when we put it enough Lego blocks together, they finally build a box, cube type of thing. So let's talk about what is Postman. Basically, Postman is a collaborative platform which simplifies our effort while testing and creating those same API developments. And it provides many type of different UI UX formats in which we can view our endpoints or the URLs. So this is the curl command. If we are hosting it somewhere and we are using the curl command, then we can see how it is working, what all kind of responses we are getting. The same thing we are doing in the Postman, as I just showed you right now. The difference between the Google search and the parameter, and this is the way we get it in the Postman. So let me create a new command once more. Yeah. So previously what we had done is that we created a header. Oh, we just search like this google.com, and we got response as the page, the preview. Now if we put it like this, search is equal to Postman, or we just move it search. So you can see that from here we will get a different kind of, because we have this endpoints is declared for using search parameter, but yet we haven't used any parameter or a query, so it is showing that it cannot get a result. Similarly, if we convert it to the query parameters, okay, just so this is the query parameter that I am adding right now. Let's save it and hit the send button. Yeah, so this is how it looks like now. Let's preview it. So you can compare it from here, the results that we are getting and the results that after directing the hit we got. So both of them are actually pretty same. This happens because the endpoint is the search, and we have added a perimeter like equal to Postman. So if we want, we can change it. For example, Apple. So this is how the search engine of the Google works. Now we can get access to the results after hitting the Apple, whether it's store or the company or the Wikipedia, and so on and so on. So till now, anyone has any question? Yes, then you can ask them, or you
Yeah,
continue to.
yeah, there are quite a few questions. Let me just go through few some.
Yeah.
How to use Postman for API testing automation? This is a question by Nishant Giri.
Okay. So, uh, like I have a few examples. Let me just share back my screen, and if it's visible, then please tell me. So let me just convert my to my workspace. Okay. So this was the API that I was using. Let me just convert it. Yeah. So this is a project where I have where we get the JSON file normally. So it's just a basic JSON file that I have created and saved it. So right now we can form it in a different way. The basic way in which it's working. For example, like I'm getting a hit, I'm getting a response back from the server. So it means that it's working. And if I want to play with it, then I can play with it as well. For example, I have used some visualization scripts, I guess. Yeah. So let you visualize. So this is the API response. It's giving me a chart of the stats of the COVID 2020. So this is how it is representing the data. There are many more way in which you can use visualize factor or authorization factor or pretty much anything. If it's if we see it in a view, then we get it like this, the basic JSON format, but in a single line command. In a short, if you are getting your response, if you are sending a request and getting any response, that means it is working. And if it's showing 404 or 200, then on the basis of the codes you can verify whether it's working or not, and if not, then what is the issue. I hope that clears your answer, Nishant. Let's see. Okay, how can we use Postman in our
Yeah,
project? So basically, Postman is a platform to test your API or a create. So you can create your APIs using in a similar fashion, just putting it the body here and pasting it here. So this is your basic raw format in the JSON, and while creating some scripts on the test or the pre-test, you can test it any projects.
there's another question
Yeah,
by Nishant again. What exactly needs to be verified in API testing?
verified in what sense? Means whether getting an hit or just getting a normal response. In either cases, if though there are few things that should be means considered carefully, like is your API working properly? If it is, then what endpoint you are using. If if the endpoint is also correct, then if it's getting the hit, then it's verified, I guess. And if it's not, you will get a red flag something. Let me just show you, I guess, in this one only. Okay, so I guess this won't do. mm, just convert it. What if it works this one? Yeah, this has a header in it. So let me just copy this one. If your tests are working properly, then you will get a result. But if it's not, then you can see that the template is not defined, or there is some error, or similar way you will get the error codes according to that. Okay, any starter projects? Yeah, we will be discussing some of them. Can we test whether API from sites like is working or not? Recently faced an issue due to an API not working. Yeah, we can work. So, for example, I guess there is. Okay, let us get me back to this one. Add a request. Rohit, if you have that API link or something, that can you just share it with us? Let me just search some APIs that are currently outdated. Yeah, yeah, cool, cool. Let's take up some other question at that time. Is API protected while fetching requests through Postman? Yeah, that's why they have an authorization factor. If the tokens are invalid or is not working, then you can't access those API. Similarly, for the Twitter bot or REST, you need some token access. Otherwise, they won't allow uh, fetching of the APIs. Okay, just let me try this one. Outdated API.
By the way, Animesh, would you like to project of yours, any past project of yours, so that people here can get a nice view of how API works?
Uh,
Any project.
sure,
Yeah,
I
that would be
do.
nice.
Okay, so like this was a page that we I built for login custom APIs. This is the response that we got because it was in an HTML template by for that time, and we are not using any JSON format. So this is how it would represent it. Right now, I
I
guess it's offline. Oh yeah, that's the local server, and that's the local host. Let me just if once it gives the API, then I will show you some projects how it works on that.
sure, sure.
Let me just make some API. It's better that way.
Yeah, any simple anything.
So let me just show you this one. Okay. So this is the API that you can search from the net. Once we, if it's giving a perfect head, this is the preview. This is how the website will look. That's it. Let's get it open here.
Yeah,
This is how it will look. Now, if we add some random points here, so this is not the correct URL or something. Similarly, if we try to access this URL which doesn't exist, then we'll get the not found or error something like this. Error 404. Then we take it in a JSON format or HTML format. Not able to send links here. Okay. Let me just try the image flip API. So I got that one. So basically, this is for the get me. Right. So here it is. Can preview it. This is how it will look. This is the API format that the imageflip.com that was not working previously. So it got hit, so it returned success. This was in by default in the URL group, uh, and it shows how many URL and the different types of ID names. This is the format in which it has been contained, right? So it's working for now. Just if we remove some part or add some extra something, I guess it would show. Yeah, it's not showing. 404 error. They cannot be found and etc. I think we got a pretty crisp idea that how it was working and how it will work if it's not the correct proper endpoint. Yeah, I will share all the links in the chat as soon after the Q&A. So let's get shifted back to
Yeah,
our PPT and move
sure,
on
sure.
further.
It was very helpful, by the way. That basic, simple example of how a API works, that was pretty helpful.
Thank you, Shubham.
Yeah,
So we covered that how the response and request pattern will work. The client will send a request to the server, and if the request is valid, it has some kind of data, then it will give the response back to the client. So right now we discussed that get, and in the further we will in a one project we will make, and in that we will discuss then how other endpoints like get, post, delete works, and how the endpoint change matters. So this is the example that we get right now. We did a get information. So we did the search parameter for Apple and the Postman, and we got the pretty good results according to the same that we did on a different tab. So as you can see, the HTTPS part, it has been broken down into the three parts, like the HTTP protocol. That is very important because if it's not if you should know that what kind of protocol it is using. If it's not HTTPS but HTTP instead, then it might also create some problem for you. Then the host, that whatever host we are using, and the path, as we have seen that the difference in the path and the query makes the response or the request invalid. So like we did in the search query, let me share it again. While using an API in the projects, we have to pass password and username as well. We need to do that here also. Yeah, you have to do that here also, because if suppose that in the project you have some labels, you are an admin, and admin role takes some kind of certain permissions. You can delete the data or add the data, like that. So it would matter, you have to send your username and the password to in the authorization section. We'll cover it all at the end, I guess. So yeah, this is how the parameter looks like that we were currently using. Just shift it back. Can anyone tell me the problem that it happened right now? Anyone in the from the chat?
uh, sorry.
Can anyone from the audience can tell me that why it is showing uh, could not send a request?
Let's see.
It has HTTPS, it has path, it has protocols, but that's not the complete site.
Yeah,
Search endpoint is
yeah.
different than the google.com. That's why it was not taking any request. Now here it is. So this is the request that we got here, and if you have just out of curiosity have searched, then the query parameter is q, simple q on Apple. Or let's search it only. So here it is. This is the query that we had used, and its value, the key is q and the value is it. That is how we are using it. And in the, if we are about to accept the JSON data or any other data, then we have to make some changes in here in the content type, and here application, JSON, uh, JavaScript, Atom, XML, that whatever we are using. Right now we are not using any kind of thing, so it's better to leave it alone. These are the data that are being used by default in every part: the cookie, the host, the user agent, the accept, and connection. So while we are making any changes on the public repos or forking it, the cookies and the session and the use, these three parts get stored by default. So if someone is about to use this, uh, means make some, what should I say, miscellaneous comments or anywhere, then the team leader might get back the data and he can verify it that who has done it. Okay, so moving on, we have discussed that what is the specifying details, how we can authorize the parameters and what are the data types. Then this is the body that we have discussed, that the what form just we get by default in the form data, that is nothing special, just a basic layout that how it will look. We can make our custom in body part, JSON part, and GraphQL, etc. These are generally used for the post and the put requests because by default get doesn't require these things. It is inbuilt in the API or the endpoints. For example, this is how I made my data in the JSON. So I stored I needed confirm recoveries, the content type, the total amount of people. So this is how I made it. This was the answer to the question that Rohit asked previously, that if API is not working by, or how we can test it. So this is the way it will show different type of status codes if it's working properly, and in the case there is an internal error or the server is not working or there is some other issue. So I guess I will post this one in the group and then we'll follow along. This is the hands-on, so I suggest that if anyone has yet to make some their accounts on the Postman, I will paste that link as well, so you can just do it.
Sure. The links will be shared in the description there.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sharing. Just a second. Okay, so here it is. Just make sure that you have made your accounts because for that you will need it. Maximum fetch request achieved, maybe. What for what means how many requests can be made. There is no maximum limit. You can make it from 100 to 2000. It depends on what kind of thing you are using and how many changes do you require. So let's take a 5 minutes break, and I hope that once we are over the break, you will all be completed by your sign up page because it will be required for forking and other processes.
Sure. As you wish.
So I guess we are back, and let's get started. I hope that everyone has made their accounts on the Postman. If not yet, there is some time. Please do it. Yeah, we are going to start from the scratch. Can we start from scratch? Yeah, can. Okay, if my screen is visible, then please mention it like the only. Like it's visible, yes or no. And fork here and fork this. We are going to work on this specific part. Just show you how we can fork it. Okay, so it is a public workspace that we can utilize. We are going to use the building an API part. So just create a fork on whatever space you want. If there is no space, then make one. Okay, so I have already forked it here. So these are the APIs that we are going to get. This is an example message one I have created here. So you can see from here that what kind of result that we are getting. And if we go to the same point, the same thing, go here. That's the pretty much the arguments and the format. It has been formatted in the JSON format, so it's similar to those. So for now, I think we are gonna use joke joke format. What are the protocols used in API testing? Simple HTTP, REST, SOAP, JMS, etc. etc. Okay, so everyone has started. They have forked, yes or no. This is the URL that we will be using. Let me open its documentation so it will be better use for you also. Yeah, so this is how it works. Okay, cool. And this is the basic website that we get. We are going to use this URL portion. After forking, you have means made the workspace, right? So after forking it in that, just go on this part, building an API and get joke. Basically here I was showing you previously that we are getting this much. This is the format. This is the documentation that we generally should use and make it a habit to make a documentation or a SRC. So if someone else is using it, we get a clear, genuine idea that this is how it's gonna work. Okay, cool. So for now, we are just starting with main part. Then how will we are making an API right now means the client and server part both. So you can see from here that this is our uh, URL that we are using. So till now, it is still here. Simple, plain, nothing extra. It has an endpoint like I said here, joke. So let's just add joke and see the how response gets different. So here it is. This is how this response got changed. Now let's try adding some data to this joke endpoint. Right? So let's see what type of error we are getting. Cannot post joke 10. Can anyone answer me why we are not able to post joke 10? We only have get and not get joke. I don't understand. Means yeah, we only have get data and not get joke. But that's not how it works. It works on the what type of different endpoints that we are using. So previously, just I showed you that the joke format is working. We got a joke from that, but why we are not able to post it? No, no, this is an open. But it's a pretty good idea that you got those ideas. I think. So let's go for it. This is the format that it has to be. Right now, we just added data, but we are not adding anything else. For example, here there is no author reference, there is no joke, and source is early. So let's get back to it. Now save it. After saving it, let's make it to, or let's keep it in. Yeah. Still, it is not showing how to post. This time we are admins too. We have correct data, but yet we can't. So, what's your opinion on this one? Anyone? Any yes or no? Yes, that will work for me. Okay. So till now, you all had made your get data, right? And your joke data. So now open, before I try, just go it on your screens. There is a documentation button. Open that documentation and see that what it is saying and then how you can make the data. Before I do, I want you all to just give it a go. If it doesn't work, no worries. If it works, well and good. take a 5 minutes gap, and after that we'll move. Anyone got it right? Okay, so Rohit had gone ahead and done it. So can you just share in the comment and what you did and how it worked? Okay, back to the stream, I guess. So let me change some part of here. You can see that I have changed the URL to this one. This is also deployed on the Heroku, but this time it's showing internal server error, even with the same endpoints. And if I do the get data, then it's saying, hey, this is the sample demo for making API servers by so and so. Does anyone want to try to an experiment with it, or other then we will move on? Just use the link to get a request. Okay, so that's good. But right now we are trying to put our data on the API side, server side. So use the post server. I'm just sharing this one link for you all. If you have any new thing to try a bit, then we'll do, because the rest two part are very simple. It because in the first part we are going to delete, and in other one we are going to update. So it will hardly take some few minutes. Before that, I want all of you to get a good idea then how it's working. So anyone has tried. We don't have that API request in which you are working. Okay, just okay, okay. Then I think we should try different fork. Go to the same part and fork basic API one. Let me show you. Yeah, this is the in that repo you might have just three one. So okay, then try this one with the basic API. Both are same. You just have to add slash API at the end. It will work in other cases. Still, the part that we are using is same. So even if I put it here and put it API, so save it and send it. What happened? Because it requested an insecure HTTP source. Oh shit. Yeah, the same thing will happen here also. I guess Rohit, try with this one. I hope it will help you. Okay, so for the four post one, sorry, I was muted the whole time. So sorry. So in the post one, you have to keep these four things very peculiarly. If the ID is already existing, then you can't use it. Okay, right. Cool. So we till now we have got the joke, we have got added our joke. Okay, so let us move on. Let's add something with the same ID. Let's leave it like this and add a new request. Now we want to update our joke. So anyone can tell me what type of method we will be using for this one? We have post, update, patch, delete, many more. So let's go there and hit the send button. Oh, you were trying the put one. Okay, cool. Put one has a different requirements because we are updating our body. So for that, suppose this is it. Okay, for data, the body, we will make some additions from like raw text, JSON. Let's make it to the. Let's keep it one. Okay. So from here we can, when we added our, we send it the bugs are features. Right. Now we are updating the joke. So bugs are updated features. And let's see what we'll get. Okay, so this part means that it's been put it successfully, and till now everyone got right, huh? Yeah, but it's great. So till now we have used our get data, add data, and put update it. So I then now will use delete to delete the data that we have created. So the main part remains as it is. Cool. Let us create a new form, add request. Okay. So what will happen if I will just send the request like this without identifying anything, or it says ID is missing or invalid? Can anyone say why? Like, why is it saying like that? It doesn't need to know. It can just flush out everything, but it's not doing that. Why is it? Yes. So now we will just simply quote it to delete our code joke. In the similar way, we can delete joke too. So let's delete the joke of ID 10. Joke with ID 10 is deleted. Now if we go back here, let's see if the joke ID 10, joke not found, but joke 1 was created because in the beginning it showed us that yeah, it exists. So it still exists, but the joke 10 has been deleted. So is everyone with me till this point? So if you have completed this four part and know how to get the data, how to fetch the data, how to update the data, how to add the data, and how to delete the data, then you have established yourself as some beginner in the API development. So let me get back to my screen. So in this whole resources, we saw what are the methods to use that we can use from starting to get to the delete part, then what type of addresses we can use, how the parameter works, what we can do with the body data as we have seen while adding and deleting them or updating them, and how does the authorization work. So if you want to continue your learning APIs as a student expert, then you can there's a certification that includes making sophisticated requests in the Postman, writing documentations for collections, writing basic test scripts that we used for to check whether the APIs are working properly or not, or running the collections. The one collection that you all made today in the workspace is known as a collection. How the data passing can happen between my collection and your collection. So we'll share this link in the chat. You can just apply for the program if you want to. Now here's the interesting part. Every one of you can win some kind of swags. We have many swag. For that, all you have to do is this will be a 24-hour challenge. Okay, so you have to share your learnings with the hashtag for Postman Student on Twitter, and just showcase your work, and then there will be a giveaway done by the postman themselves. They will pick you out and just do the part. Okay, that's it.
Well, that was a pretty good session, I must say, Animesh.
Thank you, Shubham.
Yeah. Well, for the swags, I must say that many people will do their projects and send you. Like,
Yeah, but the
yeah,
people who are currently live with us,
yeah.
only this challenge is only for them. So I'm just gonna put the feedback form here, and after completing their feedback, they can enter the challenge.
Okay, that's a pretty important point that you have mentioned out.
Yeah,
The
otherwise their entry won't be counted and they will be disqualified. So it is damn pretty important that every one of you go and complete this feedback form. You have few minutes. Let's just take the 5 minutes or the 2 minutes while me and Shubhan discuss and take up the questions that were you posted during the session.
Sure, sure. Um like there was one question that I asked while I was on the backstage. What are the protocols used in API testing?
Yeah, I answered that. The REST,
Oh,
there is HTTP, REST, SOAP, uh,
uh,
JMS,
okay, okay,
etc.
okay, okay. Sure. Okay.
There are
Rohit,
many now.
yeah. Rohit asked, like, can we start from scratch, like, without any knowledge of backend and all? Can we just
Yeah,
start?
you can start from scratch. All you need is a basic idea that how JSON file looks like. If you
Oh,
have, as we have seen, that whether it's a very two-line code or we use just ID, author name, and a basic part such as uh, joke itself, what we updated, the description. So that's a pretty simple format which you know. If you know, then you can get started with learning.
sure. Okay, then let's see if there are any other questions.
Yeah. I got a question that what is a purge? If you are asking the reference of what is the purge in API, so basically it means removing the removing the inaccessible or basically your edge content. You set your own URLs or APIs in the codes in the in what should I say, in the URL endpoints. You create your own customs.
Sure. Well, guys, just a few minutes left. Fill up the form. So that would be great. So you will get nice swags, amazing swags from Postman. So everyone, do fill up the form.
Right
And
now, I guess we have received only four responses. That is of Nishant, Rohit, and Sanya.
Sanya,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay
great,
then.
great, great.
So let's
Cool.
wrap up the session. On the behalf of Kit Yaksha, I would like to thank you for this amazing session on Postman APIs and teaching everyone, all the guys who joined, how it all works and a little building from scratch to getting data and posting data. So that was an amazing session, I would say. So thank you, Animesh, and thank you all for joining us for this session. We will bring up new sessions for on backend development, front end development, on web development. So tune in with Kate Kaksha. Thank you guys. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.